now going to touch the pad. Everybody in the world fused. Yeah, there you go. Geez, that's not good, is it? Right. Now then, crew, and welcome back to the Andy Mechanic YouTube channel. Now, as always, excuses. I've had very little time in the workshop. We've been really busy. Well, actually, I've been in the workshop, but I've been really busy not doing videos. And you may just have heard an engine noise in the background, and there's going to be... I'll get back to that a bit later on, because we've got some building work going on down here at the new site. Now, I checked the PO box the other day, and it turns out I got a parcel, and it's this one here, look. So I thought, first of all, we've got all sorts of stuff to go through in this video. It's a bit of a mail call, update, shout out to some patrons, and a Patreon that has his own channel, a Patron, yes, YouTube channel as well, and he's a patron, so all sorts to go through on that. But first of all, without further ado, we'll take a look at this one. Here we go. So, who could it be from? I don't get that many parcels in the post, unfortunately. Oh, here we go, look. Right. Now, is there a check or any money? Nope, no check or money. But we do have these. Now, these are Blue Point, so snap-on basically, made in the USA, and they're an oil filter plier wrench. So there's lots of different tools out on the market for removing oil filters, and I saw these and I thought, man, they're actually really useful because they're very slim, as you can see, and you can get into spaces and, you know, clamp onto the oil filter and give it a good yuck, get it undone, or in fact, for me, that way around. Yeah, so there you go. This is what we've got, and obviously you'll see these being used in future videos, and we'll see just how useful they are. And of course they're adjustable. They've got a little slidey bit down there, little notches in it, so you know you can choose the size, and it goes pretty big, doesn't it? I mean, that must be probably a 4-inch diameter filter down to, you know, a little tiny one, you know, little tiny motorcycle one. So that's pretty good. And these are more motorcycle than they are car size oil filter wrenches. So, you know, what is it? Blue Point CHN-209. That's what we have. Cool. Well, I do know the gentleman that sent me this from the UK, and his name is Simon. So, Simon, thank you very much for sending these. I will, and he didn't give me them. I have to pay him for them. It was a promise. So, Simon, I'll be sending you money across very shortly. Thank you very much. Right, so what's next on the list? Here you go. Here's a quick list. I have to do a crib sheet because I forget otherwise, and I finish the video and I go, oh crap, I've forgotten something. So next is a shout out to a couple of new patrons that came on board. We've got Walter Peterson, so thank you very much, Walter, and Kevin Payne. Both came on board as patrons a few months ago, but this is really sort of the first mail call video that I've decided to include shout outs to patrons. So thank you very much, and there will be ultimately a list of all patrons put in the credits at the end of each video, so you'll be able to, you know, join a particular tier, get your name in lights, sorry, stole that line, and put you on the videos. So, you know, publicly say thank you very much to all of those patrons that do support the Andy Mechanic YouTube channel. Without you, I really wouldn't be able to, you know, buy this kind of stuff and add to my collection, build the workshop. We've got one more big steel beam to go in, then I can remove this horrible wall that's between the two sides of the workshop, and hopefully the roof won't fall in. I don't think it will. So next on the agenda is a shout out to a gentleman called Andy, and he started a YouTube channel. Now I'm probably going to get all the dates wrong, about a year ago, I reckon, estimated, and it was called Big Car. and Andy does lots of research on a particular model, make and model of car, for example, Rover SD1. He'll research in the archives, dig up some really cool footage and a timeline of the development and the production and the sale, all the stats, that kind of stuff. Really interesting. He does a great job, far better videos than mine, believe me. And he built that channel up, and he'll explain to you why, but the channel got taken down by YouTube, and he got pretty disheartened, and so would I if that happened to my channel. I'd be really upset, and to be honest, I think I'd find it really difficult to start all over again. But Andy has. He started a new channel called Big Car, and he uploaded a lot of the videos, and he's back on track. I think the original channel got to about 20,000 subscribers, which is really good, and he's bounced back, and he's already 7,000 or 8,000 subs. So I'll put a link in the description. You'll recognize the logo because I'll put it up on the screen somewhere right about now. And go and check him out, because there's some really good history and facts about various models of cars and how they evolved and the problems that the manufacturers had and why they were a success or why they were a complete failure. So some examples, actually. Again, I mentioned the Rover SD1. I found that extremely interesting. He's done a couple of videos now on electric cars, which goes back a lot further in time than I ever thought it did in the development. So I found that very interesting indeed. And I used to teach a little bit about hybrid and electric cars when I was a lecturer at Unitech. So again, personal interest, really good. The Ford Capri, for example, there's another video on that. The Triumph Stag, and of course, no channel doing historic research on cars would be any good if it didn't do a video on the Jag E-Type, which was one of Andy's first videos. So do check that out, and if you want to become a patron to his channel, then you've got that option as well. And I think he does a fantastic job, and testament to him for bouncing back and starting all over again. Okay, well, you might have heard in the background an engine thundering up and down the garden, I suppose you could call it. So we need to now whiz outside, and forgive the mess, it really is a building site. I've also got to be really careful what I film, because the garden is full of a particular brand of motorcycle which I'm not allowed to have in my videos. That's a work contract thing. So, if the filming looks a bit weird, or if there's something a bit fuzzed out, then that's the reason why. Okay, well, let's take a look outside and see what the hell is going on. Here we go. Right, I've got to point the camera away from some of the stuff. There we go, that's better. Okay, bit of a mess. There we have the silver shed. That was here before. But now, Benjamin is down building stuff. And he's putting up his own shed. So, day before yesterday, he leveled the site. Sort of. And then he spent the whole day with me making these footings. So I'm going to give you a bit of an idea. Now, obviously it's level. There you go, look. Because we use a thing called a spirit level, which is pretty cool. And these are the foundations, and this is going to it's got the gravel down the bottom. There you go, look. And I think he's tamped all that down. It doesn't look particularly tamped to me, but anyway. So it's all squished down. And today, we're going to be pouring the concrete. I think he's done a fantastic job. It did take us a lot longer than planned to do all the shuttering. That's the timber work. But now it's done, things are looking really good. So hopefully by tonight we'll be all sorted. Okay, bit of piece to camera. Now, I've been doing some building work of my own, not quite to the extremes of what Benjamin Young has been doing, but nevertheless helping to improve the workshop. So we'll head back down the other end of the garden and take a look. Marmite, what are you up to? Right, so there's some more timber, because he needs to do some more shuttering for pouring the real concrete, and we have got a concrete mix, which is nice. Okay, let's take a quick look. So we're building a carport. So the first job was to fit that big beam up there, look. and bolt it to the workshop. So all that's done. Very careful with the camera. And then I made up some brackets. So I've got a bracket that side. There you go. And then we follow this beam. This is the first beam. And then we follow it down. Oh, that's Ben's ute, by the way. What a machine. $600. And that was like 7 years ago and it's still going. Fantastic piece of kit. And then, down here, we made the first ground bracket. Pretty cool. And then if we go over here, yesterday, I stole some of Ben's concrete and we set the next post. Now this one's straight into the ground because the ground isn't, there's no concrete here. And that's all leveled up. There we go, look, fantastic. And once that's set, which hopefully will be a couple of days, so I'm going to be away for a bit, then we can put, sorry, I'm really careful with the camera because there's bloody bikes everywhere. We can then put the first beam across from there, across to that one. So it's all go down at the Andy Mechanic workshop at the moment, but it's stuff I can't really make a video on setting concrete because, in all honesty, I'm not very good at doing that kind of stuff. I've done it in the past years ago, and now I'm doing it again for Ben, and I've got another carport to build at the side of the workshop, this side, which will need to be concreted, and some timber work. So maybe I'll take you along on the timber work side of it, which is pretty easy because I always have steel brackets that mount one piece of timber to another piece. I don't just bolt a piece of timber to another. Ooh, phone's going like mad. Okay, one more thing before you go. It's supposed to be a really quick video, but it never is with me, is it? We have here we go, look. It is engine, it's a complete sort of integral unit. Engine, transmission and final drive all built into one. And this is an engine stroke transmission stroke final drive out of a Suzuki LT300 ATV. Now these are also known as the King Quads, and they've been around since the early 90s as far as I'm aware. And what's special about these is they have a transfer box which gives a high ratio and a low ratio. Well, you may think, well, most quad bikes do, Andy. They do. But this also has a super low. Okay, so there's 3 different ratios, and it has a 5-speed gearbox with reverse. So that means that each of those gears is available in each ratio, each reduction ratio. So it essentially gives the vehicle, the quad bike, 15 forward gears and 3 reverse gears. I mean, even our Unimog only had 16 forward and 16 reverse gears. Or was it 8? No, it had 8 forward gears. No, it had a low box. That's right, 16 forward and 16 reverse. So this is actually a pretty cool machine. Now, the reason why I've got this engine, stroke transmission, stroke gearbox, stroke final drive, is that the customer, not mine, a friend of mine, was riding his quad full tilt on a tarmac road, flat out, as fast as it would possibly go, and it locked up. Basically, the engine seized up. But once it unseized, after a few minutes, and didn't even bother checking the oil, it just set off again. And the reason why it seized up is it had lost all its oil. The bike would not drive forwards in high or in low, but it would drive forward in super low. Now, the customer just went and bought a second-hand engine, put it in his quad bike, and he's back on the road again. There was what they believe to be is way too much internal damage. You know, the cylinder's probably scored, the rings are all screwed. I don't know, maybe even the crank, big end's gone. We just don't know until we pull it apart, and that's going to be the next video. So we're going to do an autopsy, a full strip down of this engine, looking at every single component to find out what was the primary fail, you know, what was the reason for the failure, what component potentially failed first, and then what were the secondary failures. You know, basically, why has it not got high ratio and low ratio anymore? But it does still have super low. Now, I have a sneaky suspicion that there might be a planetary gear set in there somewhere. I have no idea yet. I haven't found the service manual for it. I will have a rake around, try and find it before we start pulling it apart, so we can maybe identify the parts. But this is going to be the next video on the Andy Mechanic YouTube channel, and I reckon it's going to be really cool. Okay, crew, well, that's about it for this super short video. I'll see you next time. If you enjoyed the video, why not click on the subscribe button. You'll see a little gear icon turn up. Click on the gear icon and then you can tick the box and turn on notifications. If you're using a smart device, which probably 99.9% of the people on the planet are now, then just ring the bell. Same thing. And our friends at YouTube will send you an email as and when I upload any new videos. You'll also find me on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. Feel free to communicate through any of those portals. There's also the Andy Mechanic email address embedded in the description of this video, along with lots of other information where you can get these shirts from, for example. You can actually buy these shirts. They're extremely durable. I've only ever bought 4, and one of them is still brand new, hung up in the Andy Mechanic special set wardrobe, which is just, hang on, I can't do this anymore, just over there, look. That grey cabinet is where we keep all the Tool Girl stuff as well. Anyway, plus there's a couple of laptops and stuff in there, because it's a clean environment. So you can communicate through email as well if you like. Now, feel free to send me through, you know, problems that you've had with your cars, motorcycles, whatever. And I'll if I have time and I can help and I've got experience in that field, then of course I'll try and email you back and give you some ideas. But first point of contact, if you don't mind, through the comments here on YouTube underneath this particular video. Now, last thing, there is a Patreon page. And you can go on to there, there's a link again in the description, and you can check out a bit more background about the Andy Mechanic YouTube channel, about how it came to be. Bit of a strange one. There's a number of posts there covering all the various tool girls that have been through the channel, some which are still around, some which have moved on to bigger and better things up on the stage, and high-class models as well, actually, to be honest. They've done extremely well. So if you would like to become a patron and support the channel, then you can do that through that portal as well. Alright, crew, well, until next time, it looks like I've got an engine to pull apart this afternoon, doesn't it? I'll see you around. Cheers, over and out. And we get the pick up again.
Oh!
Yes!